This is Juniper Song, a Forbidden Lands actual play podcast from Stories with Dice. If you're enjoying our actual plays, please subscribe to Stories with Dice so you'll never miss an episode. Don't forget to rate and review us. It really helps others discover the podcast. Follow us on social media to stay updated. You'll find the relevant links in the description of each episode.
Welcome back to the Ravenlands. Our intrepid crew of, I was going to say ne'er-do-wells, but you're definitely not ne'er-do-wells. The intrepid band, I should say, of the Folk Vandals Club are all resting after a long day's trip out to this bridge. We are joined, as ever, always, by Marco.
Hello.
We are also joined by Tony.
Hello, people.
And by Scott.
Hey, folks.
Right, well, that's what you're going to get this session because, listen to our previous one and you'll know who everyone is. So, let's get going. Short and sweet today.
Yeah, no preliminaries, I see.
No, I'm getting straight into it. Okay, well, it's day 2 away from Juniper Song, and you have spent the night under a very large bridge next to a river, sort of like about 250, 300 foot across. You sheltered very nicely under the nice spring evening. There wasn't a cloud in sight. There was no rain. It was cozy. Did you have a fire? Tony, I think you were carrying the
yes, and I asked Casa and Gray to get the fire going.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you a very nice fire. You kind of fell asleep to the dying embers, and you woke up the next morning, which is always good, to the sound of frogs and the bubbling river as it rushes through the broken down parts of the bridge that you can't cross. You can hear the occasional twang of the rope that kind of holds the ferry that goes from your side to the other side. Yeah, you wake up to this very fine sort of like wispy mist on the river, which very quickly dissipates as the day starts to get sunnier and warm up. It's another beautiful day in the Ravenlands. Could you all take 1 food and 1 water if you're... in fact, make a roll for your... Not take it off. I forgot what game I was playing there for just a second. So on your character sheets, you will see under the gear, there is a food and water, arrows and torches. If you could roll for food and for water, if you get a 1 or a 2, you decrease your die by 1. It just means you've eaten more food than you need.
Which is exactly what Berador has done.
So does that mean I reduce my water? I rolled a 1?
Yeah, so if you're on a D6, you roll a 1, you end up basically using all your water. But very handily, you're right next to a very large, fast-flowing river, which you can quite easily reuse your water. And in this case, if you wanted to go anywhere near the water, you can quite happily refill your water to a D12.
I'll do so, because I just lost all the water I had.
We should probably boil this water.
It's up to you to decide whether you want to do that.
I know I'm talking to the group here.
We probably should. No point in dying of dysentery so far out, like, within a day of leaving.
And do we need more wood this morning?
Probably we don't need. If you want me to redo the fire.
You've probably got like a little small stash just to have like maybe some eggs or whatever kind of stuff you might have with you to kind of... So I'd have no problem with you not having to forage for
okay.
again.
There you go.
I'm going to start boiling water.
Okay.
The game master is privately rolling dice.
I love doing it to you. It's great.
Which is never a good sign.
It's perfectly fine.
This is what all GMs do, behind their, they have their things. They
They'll
just
scream.
They always roll, I always roll in to make my, my players unease. I always roll, I don't care.
It seems to work.
See, it's when I'm doing it to my players, it's an entirely legitimate psychological technique.
Exactly.
When it's doing it to me, I don't like it.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that, you can fill up your water. Are you going to, I'm going to be very kind of specific just because it's fun. Are you going to use your water, then fill up your canteens, and then boil said water one in a row, and then wait for the water to cool, and then refill your canteens? Or are you going to boil whatever water you have, and then fill up your canteens. And then next time you want to get water, you'll fill up and burn wood and boil water.
I don't understand.
later.
I will just pour. I have no water, so I will just bring a big mass of water, boil everything, and then refill my canteen. And these two guys can do whatever they want.
So, no, Ferret will do the same.
That's fine. It's just going to take you a shift to do all of that. So by the time you've faffed around with everything, got all the stuff you wanted, that is no problem.
Yeah, and while I'm doing that, I will ask, Beredom, just play something. You know, this is a very merry morning. Show us how you play your flute, your lute.
And Beredor was, well, if you insist. And he sits down, finds a rock, a bit of rubble falling off the bridge, and he just strums a light-hearted morning melody as a little backdrop to whilst everyone's doing their work. So Cass is sort of picking up wood, Tony's Anduin's poking around, and Gray is off doing whatever it is Gray does 7 o'clock on a spring morning.
Pin on the trees, a wolfkin. Pin on the trees, marking the territory.
Marking territory, sniffing bums.
Okay, yeah, you spend a good whole portion of the morning shift doing all that, and by the time it's kind of getting just before midday, you guys are prepared, ready to face the rest of the day. What's the plan?
I think we could cross the bridge. Remember, no, there were kind of these ropes that we could just drag and move. There was something to move back and forth, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, we found like a ferry, haven't we? But
yes.
we worked out we weren't strong enough to pull it.
No,
we didn't try. It was too dark. It was too late.
So there is a very large rope going beside the bridge, the very large bridge, from your side of the river to the other side of the river. The other side of the river, you can see a large wooden ferry, and on this side that you're on, you can't see a way of pulling the ferry across. So to get to the ferry, someone is going to have to traverse either swimming through the river, hanging onto the rope and climbing across the river, or finding some other way to get to said ferry.
Well, definitely I cannot do that,
Like all good bards, I am more than happy to sit here and play music to encourage great feats of climbing and swimming. It's probably not actually, ideal if I do them myself, because my value is in inspiring the party rather than...
What skill would we use to use the rope to sort of essentially walk and or swim across the river? I don't know how deep this river is.
It's going to be move.
Okay.
And or endurance. They're the two that you're kind of looking at.
Okay, and do we have a vague idea of how deep this river is?
It looks relatively deep. No one's tested it or figured out how to test it.
And how fast flowing is it?
It is quite fast flowing. There's definitely a lot of eddies and stuff around, all the broken masonry and parts of the foot of the sort of like two middle parts of the bridge. So you can see sort of definite movement. Probably 2 or 3 kilometers.
Gray will say to Veridon, sing me a song to keep me from drowning, and then I just grab onto that rope and go across.
Okay.
Don't drown, Gray, don't drown, Gray, keep your face above the water. Don't drown, Gray, don't drown, Gray, swim, swim, because you order.
Jesus, I love it.
I'm hoping that'll give me a die.
I mean, you might just decide to jump straight in the water. So you can either tough it out underneath and hand over hand kind of, go across that way, or you can try and be sort of like more sort of agility based and kind of be on the top and try and go that way. So,
dude, I'm a doggy paddle.
I mean, you could swim, you could try and swim. So the rope itself is not in the water.
Right.
If you were to hang onto the rope, your feet might just dangle in the water, but not much else.
Perfect. I'll do that.
Okay. In which case, that would be a
move.
Endurance.
You said either endurance or move.
If you want to go on top of the rope, it'll be a move. So if you want to do that, that's fine.
You mean like rope walk across?
Not quite rope walk, but yeah, kind of like it's more about the agility rather than just toughing it out with the strength, which is kind of like the underneath bit.
Like bracing yourself against this masonry and using the rope to, that kind of thing.
I'm doing the agility.
Okay, if you would like to make a move roll for me, that would be...
Do I get any inspiration from our
Do you get any
Troubadour?
inspiration? Well, Troubadour Man, what is your ability to inspire? What is your talent?
That is a very good question.
I think you've got Path of the War Cry, right?
I've got Path of the War Cry, which if I
Not
click on
really.
it, will tell me what I can do. It inspires my comrades and strikes fear into the hearts of my enemies. Using it in combat counts as a slow action, so I can emit a war cry that grants everyone a short range to all attacks. So I've kind of gone for the inspire courage kind of bard as opposed to the inspire competence kind of bard by the looks of it. If I were to draw a comparison to an other role-playing game that may or may not be more popular than this one.
Nicely done.
No. So you sound great, but unfortunately, it does not give you an inspiration, Grey.
Okay. Thanks for nothing, Baradon.
The genius was there, you just can't appreciate it. That's not my fault, Grey.
No modifier for me.
No modifiers, just a straight roll.
Oopsie.
So no successes. Would you very much like to push that?
Yep.
Okay.
Oopsie.
Son of a bitch.
Okay. Yeah. So you kind of get up onto the sort of rope. You kind of take a bit of time trying to get up, and then you fall down again. But you hang on. You could probably get no more than 10 foot maybe on the rope, and you basically slip and hit the water. The water is really cold. Suddenly you're just drenched. You realize that it is relatively fast flowing, and you are probably up to your chest in water. You stand up and you realize the current's taking you, and you sort of like drift for maybe 30, 40 foot before you manage to get back onto the bank, covered. So your clothes and your fur is all wet, but yeah. I assume you weren't doing that with all your kit on, because that would be crazy.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, you're just very wet now, very cold.
Thank God I prepared a fire this morning. Come here, Gray.
Could I have tried to, once I fell in the water, to swim across?
Yeah, you could do, yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard going because it is quite fast flowing, but yeah, you can get by the feel.
And that's an endurance test?
That could be an endurance, a move, or a might. You decide, depending on what you want to do. So if you want to kind of like use move, so you'll be fine, but you'll end up downriver on the other side. Whereas might and like endurance might be.
My strength is not. No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to sit by the fire. Anduin, warm me up. Cuddle with me.
Baradon's going to sit a little bit further away just in case Grey decides to shake.
Yeah, Grey is definitely shaking.
Yeah, I will just... Well, thank God the fire is still on, so you can, I will just move.
Yeah,
I
I step out of the water and do the dog shake, and then walk over to the fire, and Anduin is like, grabs a towel and starts...
And I'm not robbing you, I'm sorry.
Yes, you are. And then you're going to give me a treat.
I think you just have that. Cassie sort of like starts taking off her armor and stuff, and sort of kind of has a look at the rope and is testing it, and she's like, okay, I'll give it a go.
Baradon's in no way distracted by this.
Of course not.
And as Cassie's about to dive in, he steps up and just strums the lute again.
Seeing that you kind of tried the sort of like agility way of doing things, Cass basically tries to go underhanded and sort of like shimmy through. And as she's doing that, as soon as she gets a little way on, the sort of rope starts to sort of slack a little bit. You can see she's having a bit of a problem. Would you like, as a group, she got no successes, would you like her to push the roll?
Yes.
Okay.
Go, Cass, go, you know how to swim.
That doesn't sound good.
So I just got 3 ones pushing the roll. She kind of gets about a third of the way across, and you can see that she's just ends up hurting her hands on the rope, and she holds on for dear life. You're all looking at her, and she's like trying really hard to keep on. Her legs sort of like then go, and then very quickly she just falls into the water.
Holy shit.
Baradon drops the lute and dives straight in.
I love it. This is great. Where is the water going to the house or the other way around? Where is the water flowing to? Is the direction of the flow?
It's flowing away from the mountains, obviously.
From the mountain.
It's going, yeah.
Obviously.
So the glacial river is flowing away from the mountains.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Scott, you dive straight in.
Baradon dives straight in.
Could you make endurance or move roll for me, please?
The hero. Go for it.
We say that now. This is me rolling
My
dice.
gosh. Okay, this is a TPK. We are all dying here by the river.
Look at that.
Oh.
He failed, and then he pushed
Plunges
it,
in.
and he got a success.
Peridon lunges into the water. Suddenly appreciates shock factor when he realizes just how damned cold this river water is. And for a second, it just crushes all of the air out of his lungs. And so, boom, boom, and then he can see Cass flailing underwater, and he just goes for it. It's the most inelegant underwater doggy paddling you've ever seen, but it seems to work.
And all for love.
You can see that the Cass is kind of like keeping her head above water, and you sort of like get to her. At this point, for you two, they've kind of like being swept down river, and so you're sort of like losing sight of them as they disappear.
Yeah, I'm following. I cannot let Beredon get all the glory of this.
Okay.
So I'm just going in case I need to rescue them both.
Speridor, by the time you've kind of got to Cass, you're about halfway along the river. You have a choice. You can either come to the side that your friends are at, or you and Cass can try and swim to the other side of the river.
How is Cass doing? Does she look like she's struggling, or
you can see her hands and stuff are ripped from the rope, and she's struggling a little bit. She's gone from 5 to 2 strength.
So if I reckon Beridor's going to grab Cass, and they've got halfway across. They may as well try. They're going to try and strike out for the other bank in case that the river sort of gets shallower on the way over.
Okay, make another endurance roll for me, please, sir.
He's going to have to push it again because again he's the cold water starting to sap his strength.
Yeah, you basically start to flounder. Cass, though, somehow seems to find a last bit of strength, and she then grabs you, and you both swim across to the other side. Tony, so Anduin and Gray have kind of like tracked their progress from the bridge, and you probably reckon you go maybe just under a kilometre downriver when they get to the other side, and they basically haul themselves out onto the bank, and they are just shattered. You can just see them on the other side of the bank, and they're just laying down in the grass.
And I'm like, good job, get the ferry.
For a second there, I thought...
You did great. That was very elegant.
Just a minute.
I know.
Just a minute. I need to die.
For a second there, I thought episode 2 was going to be the final episode.
I mean, so goes the fickle nature of Forbidden Lands. Okay. Yeah, you kind of wait there for probably a good 15, 20 minutes to kind of get your breath. You realize that you're cold, so can you please take the cold status?
Well, should I take something? It's because I'm all...
No, because you just fell in and got out, and you got warmed up by Anduin.
Excuse me.
You basically just didn't try hard enough to take the cold condition.
It was the fire. It was not me. I did not rub in.
Anduin gave me his body heat. It was wonderful.
What it does mean is that, so can you take 1 point of strength damage for that? I think it might have already kind of factored it in.
No, look at it the good way, Beredon. You're building character now.
Beredon just lies there in the grass, staring up. Occasionally, he sort of glances over at Cass, and then
She does the same thing.
He just goes, "That's the worst bath I've ever had. Let's never do that again."
Sure, that seems like a great plan. Hold on. I think, that seems like a good plan. She kind of like gets up, sort of like brings out some of her clothing, and shall we? She says, as she points back upriver.
Beredon sort of goes, "Look, there's no point in walking around in these cold, wet clothes," and just takes off his top, takes off his trousers, wrings them out, and just carries them with him to dry them. Dry them.
Yeah, I would like to remind Beredon and everyone else that the water was really, really cold.
That's why he's kept his underwear on.
Yeah. Cassie basically raises her eyebrow to you and keeps her clothes on and continues to trudge back up the room.
If you're going to catch a death of cold, don't blame me, Cass. Don't blame me.
I'm not one of your cheap village girls.
Blam!
There was not a single girl in our village that I would consider cheap.
She just like kicks some grass and stuff and she makes your way up. I take it Anduin and Gray continue to follow them back up the river to the bridge. And, you kind of watch them as they kind of get to the particularly large ferry. It could probably take a cart if you wanted to put a cart on the ferry, but just about.
Is it like a winch ferry or a sort of chain ferry type thing? Or is
No,
it just
looks like
you'd hand over hand pull it across the river?
Pretty much hand over hand pull it. There's another rope that kind of like secures this to the side of the river. And should something go wrong, there is a rope that will allow you to pull yourself back to the other side of the river, just not the side that you're on, as in like Tony and Marco's side. So yeah, you basically get there. Now it requires a might roll from you, sir, in which case...
I would say Cass, no?
Cass will also try that.
To be honest, I think Cass and I are about the same at the minute because of the general effects of us being bathed in water.
So Cass rolled her whole generous 2 dice.
I have rolled my generous 2 dice.
Excellent.
And no success.
I somehow seem to consistently be able to roll a Bane on 2 dice.
Also, you're rolling for skills that you're really not
kind of
have
suited for.
So to give you a little peek behind Berador's curtain, there are forced in the strength box.
You've already given us a peek behind your curtain.
I have. There are 4 stats and the 4 different skills that go with strength: might, endurance, melee, crew, and crafting. I have crafting of 1.
Yay! Yeah, you kind of
is not a strong man.
So you and Cassie take a while to pull yourselves across. It takes the rest of the late morning and early afternoon to basically do that and fight the current. Because you're going up current, it's harder going this way than it is coming the other way. So by the time you get to Anduin and Grey, who just have to kind of watch as you struggle along, you eventually get to that place. And while Cass is holding it, you can throw some rope to Grey and Anduin, who can then secure the ferry. And then you now have the ferry on your side of the river.
Okay. If you don't mind, I will...
Arduous task.
I will use this shift to do some forage, perhaps. Since I see that they're pulling and it's taking them time, I will just, as a good druid, I will go and find us dinner, because I have a feeling this is going to be our day.
Sure, that's cool. What does Grey want to do?
Gray's going to stay by the camp in the fire and
keep watch.
Make sure that Baradon and Cass don't die.
Sure.
Not that he can do anything about it because they're on the other side of the river, but at least he'll watch.
Yeah. Okay.
At least we have a nice camp and you can keep the fire going. They're going to need it, so it's fine. And I will get us... Yeah.
You do some foraging, please.
I can use my herbalist, I guess.
So I think foraging is survival.
No. Yeah, no. But my talent. Can I use my talent herbalist?
I think Herbalist allows you to do that.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can use it. It gives me a +1 for the rank 1.
Excellent. Yeah.
Perfect. This is what a useful character looks like.
This is where you get no successes, right? Like that.
I'm learning so much from you, Tony. So much from your character building skills.
So how many dice did you have there, Tony? 7 dice and no successes. Excellent.
And a Bane, which is the worst thing, because I could have pushed it, if not because of the Bane.
Well, you could still push it.
Yeah, fine. You're right. I'm going to sleep.
Don't be a 1.
Sure. And no successes. There you go.
So, foraging mishap. Let's see what happens to you.
This is fun again.
Well, please tell me maybe he stands in his own bear trap.
Does he disturb a hornet's nest and get stung everywhere?
It could be. I've already rolled for that, so let's have a look.
Oh, you can? There you go.
Okay, right. So, yeah, you kind of go wandering on. I mean, so what ends up happening is you kind of go foraging for stuff, and you kind of see some berries and various other sort of like plants. You just have to kind of get through a thicket of brush and stuff. By the time you get in, it's kind of pulling at your clothes and ripping everything. You just basically end up, you also find that there's a lot of rocks underfoot as well. So you kind of like end up hurting you hurt your feet, and you sort of like pull all your clothes, and there's like all these little sharp spines start cutting into your skin. Then you find, the poison oak, and it's like, for the love of... It goes horrendously wrong, and you end up abandoning the foraging, coming out with scratches, scraps, and a particularly itchy thigh, and sort of like arm.
Nah.
Not your best work.
Not my best.
Itchy thigh, you got to get that looked at.
Very closely, definitely.
And only Berador's around to help you. Okay. Yeah, you make your way back just in time for them to be there, and you kind of just sit down. You know, you're not in the best of moods. You look at your clothes are ripped and raw. I mean, it's not good, right? Okay, you land, but you're both knackered. You're not going to be able to pull yourselves across. So it'll be down to the other two to have to do any kind of ferrying.
Well, hear me out. I think we have a nice camp here. We have the fire. I would say, let's rest, take it easy, and we do it tomorrow morning.
Put on an impromptu concert this evening.
Yeah. Why not?
We entirely intended to stay here for 2 nights.
Exactly. We can clearly see that we are not the best survivors.
But actually, you know, we've got a really good camp. So we've got the bridge, which gives us a nice level of protection. We've got running water that is fresh and boilable. And we've got a world-class druid to forage and feed us. What could go wrong?
Nothing. It's perfect. This is perfect. So let's sing again, I guess. I can play the flute now.
We sing more songs around the campfire. We break out the flutes. The various, so your afternoon shift is going to spend. Your afternoon to evening is going to be spent basically resting, recuperated, and
rehearsing. This is the important thing. We are rehearsing for like big concert we are going to be doing soon. So this is just practice. You know, it's important to practice. You know, you need to do 10,000 hours to be the best.
Be a master.
So, Gray, having seen that Anduin returned from his foraging attempt, empty-handed and scratched up, maybe limping a little bit because he's got a stubbed toe or something.
Yeah.
And he just sighs and gets up and he mumbles to himself, "Must I do everything myself?" And he goes out to hunt, and I'm going to use my hunting instinct talent.
Yes.
I'm going to spend a willpower point.
Nice.
And essentially, not hunting instinct, I'm sorry, it's Path of the Forest.
Path of the Forest, yep.
Yep. When you forage, hunt, or lead the way, you succeed automatically if you spend a willpower point.
Okay.
You can roll first and spend a point if you fail, but I'm just going to forego rolling altogether.
Okay.
So I'll be gone for however long you deem appropriate, Ed, as the GM, and I'll come back having bagged,
Roll me a D6 plus 1.
D6 plus 1.
Let's hope we get a big thing. Not a goblin, I hope.
Not a goblin.
So I rolled a 2, so plus 1, that's 3.
Okay.
Hey, look at that, Mom. I can do math.
Good job.
I'm very proud. Yeah, you kind of come back with sort of a brace of rabbits. Yeah, you've got enough for 2 meals out of that. 1 pelt, should you want to get 1 pelt out of it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll get the pelt out of it as well.
Cool. And if you want to convert it to a dice, you have to have someone who can actually cook it and turn it into an actual meal, which I don't think any of you have chef to do that. But it just means that 2 of you can eat that food instead of having to roll. So it's just
so 2 people can eat without rolling. So we are only 2 rolling.
Essentially. Yeah.
That's fine. I can roll. It's fine.
So you just cook that up, and then 2 of you can have the rest of your rations. You probably share it amongst yourselves, but yeah, that's just the nature of how it works on the system.
And I guess we don't need to roll water because we can boil, and I would say we can just boil it.
You don't have to worry about rolling water. It's fine. You're going to stay at D12 until you leave the river, essentially.
I don't have to add meat to my gear because we're going to eat it this evening, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's fine. Okay. Cool. Well, you practice and have another lovely evening by the fire. Well, you start to have a lovely late afternoon. Who is on watch?
Do we get to remove the cold condition?
You can remove the cold condition. That's perfectly fine.
I think I will do it, perhaps, because you two are maybe Beredon and Cass are not in good condition.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
I will be nice. I will be nice and propose to keep watch.
Okay. Well, would you like to...
Don't fall asleep this time.
No, it was Beredon who fell asleep.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I never had it once.
No one was there to see you fall asleep, therefore you did not fall asleep, right?
And that's because I didn't fall asleep. That's why I never really saw it.
Can Andrew please make a scouting roll, please?
Andrew or Anduin? Anduin.
Anduin. Cool.
There you go.
Wow, our first success of the evening, I think.
Yeah.
You can see on the other side of the river, someone has kind of gone to where the ferry would have been holed up. You can see just a small person sort of on the other side of the river.
That's in the middle of the night?
No. This is sort of like going into the evening shift. And so it's still like, relaxing and sort of like eating. And the sun's not quite gone down. And you can see there's someone on the other side of the river where the ferry was. You can see they kind of look sort of over towards the river, but they can't quite see you because you're sort of backdropped with the actual bridge. They're kind of like trying to look. They can see there's a fire over there, but they're like...
They don't see the people.
Yeah.
Somebody seems to have come to get their stuff. The ferry. Do you see it? Do you see this person?
Gray sleeping.
I thought it was before. I thought it was before they were sleeping. If they are sleeping, then I don't say anything, of course.
He's basically gone off to bed.
Yeah, okay.
Is Beridon also getting an early night?
Beridon is pretty exhausted after, having to do some physical effort for probably the first time in 21 years.
Yeah.
So I'd say he's probably asleep at the moment.
Okay, so just try to distinguish this person, and if not, I kind of try to see where they go, what they do. Are they going to the direction of where we think there is this house, or they are going farther downstream?
They kind of look at the river and then they disappear directly away from the river. So they disappear over the sort of like field of view. So you don't know whether they turn left or right from there.
Okay, so there could be something.
And then you kind of, continue to keep watch. As it gets dark, you then see a small light on the other side of the river. It looks like someone else is setting a camp up. Okay. And then you start to flag a bit because you've been up for the rest of it. Which one of the 3 sleeping people would you like to wake up for the
Gray.
evening? Okay.
Wake up, Gray.
Okay.
He's having a
Great.
dream and his paws are twitching, and he's growling in his sleep.
He's chasing things.
So when you wake him up in the middle of his dream, he almost lunges for your throat, and then he realizes who you are. And he's like, oh, yeah.
It's suddenly got dark.
What's the matter?
Your turn. I need to go to sleep.
Anything I should know about?
Yeah, they seem to be like somebody came to get the ferry. They're camping on the other side. You might see the fire. So I would say we need to be careful tomorrow morning.
Well, we say hello to him, see what happens.
See what happens. And I go to bed.
Cool. The day closes on another very interesting day out in the Ravenlands. And the morning comes along. Nothing happens, Grey, overnight. You wake up pretty much like you did the day before. It's another nice morning. There's nothing more to tell you. The river's kind of like swimming, going past. Again, you got the sounds of sort of wildlife. There's probably a bit more of a mist this morning on the river, but again, within sort of like an hour of waking up, the mist is burnt off.
What about that camp on the other side of the river?
Yeah, you saw the flickering light for a good portion of the dark end of your shift, and then it disappeared as it obviously burnt down. And then you didn't see anything, and you haven't seen anything since.
So, like, the sun comes up and there's nobody over there?
Yeah, you never saw the person. They were just away from the river, so they weren't actually within view, but they were just over the horizon, as it were. So you could see the sort of like light from their camp. But obviously, as the night wore on, the camp burned down. So obviously, they didn't keep the fire up all night.
I'll shout out, hello there! I say hello there!
It echoes around the bridge, and definitely wakes anyone who isn't up yet up. You don't get a response.
Fuck them.
Okay.
Beridon sits up and rubs his eyes. Fuck who?
Can 2 of you please roll your food, whoever you'd like?
Yeah, I can do it. Okay, I'm okay.
Do you want Cass to roll it, or somebody else want to roll it?
I'm going to give the other rabbit to Cass.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Beridon.
No, ladies first.
Beridon makes a food roll. That'd be great.
Totally understand. Makes a food roll. Where is his food gone? I keep forgetting that food ends up on your gear sheet.
Yeah, it's a really handy little way of doing it and controlling it without having to have 16 packs of food. Yeah, that's fine. You all eat last night, and you kind of obviously plenty of water. You've all rested, so you've all gained back any strength and any damage you've had to any of your stats. Okay, I guess it's a matter of going across the river now.
Yeah.
Or not. Yeah.
Do we recover wits and all the damage, or?
Yeah, that's fine. Just click the little rest button on your character sheet, and it will do that for you. There you go. Right, well, it's time for a a bit of putting you back into sort of pulling yourself across. But this time you'll get a +1 because you're going with the river. I imagine that you're going to let Cass do a lot of the hard work because she has the might, unless anyone else has might.
I think Gray and Cass
If you want to help her, then feel free.
will help.
Cool. So I'm going to give you +2. And she's going to roll and see how she does. Well, she got 2 successes. So, yes, she along with you guys, she got 3 successes, in fact. You end up letting yourself go. You put all your gear on the ferry. And actually, it takes you a fair bit of the way. And then you can pull yourselves in. As you're sort of about maybe 100 foot from shore, you see the person that's on the other side of the shore step up. You can see them. They are wearing sort of traveling garb. They can see you as you sort of like pulling yourself in, and they kind of wave at you.
I will wave back.
I say, the polite thing to do when someone says hello is to say hello back.
He basically shouts to you and says, "Sorry, I couldn't really hear you that much." And you kind of realize that when he shouts to you, you kind of get, "Sorry, I couldn't hear her." It's really kind of over the sound of the water and stuff. You realize he probably couldn't have heard you from the other side of the river.
Oh, a likely story.
As you get closer, he basically stands and watches you. He's not obviously helping you with anything.
A human.
He is a human. He's wearing sort of dark magenta and black robes and sort of like traveling gear. He's got this large travel cloak, which is kind of like wrapped around himself. And he's flapping around and he's obviously stepped on it. So he's kind of like getting rid of all the dirt.
Okay, so we cross to the other side, I guess. We managed to reach the other side.
You did?
Where are you heading, stranger?
He says, I was going to come and do some fishing, but it appears that you have sequestered the ferry.
Can't fish on this side of the river?
Well, I was going to fish in the center, but that's okay. It's,
Once we're done with the ferry, you can have it to fish to your heart's content.
Thank you very much.
Is this ferry yours?
Quicker if you help us get in.
He says, "Oh, yeah, sorry." And he kind of like wanders down to the shore and sort of like starts pulling. You're like pulling. It's like, this is a bit awkward, but okay. And he kind of like grabs the wooden thing and pulls it forward and ties up a piece of rope to the shore to allow you to kind of stabilize it.
I will ask him if he's...
This is not my ferry, no. This belongs to the town.
What town? You see, we are a touring music band, and we will be very interested in knowing where your town is so we can perform for you guys.
This belongs to Ravensong Village.
Will you be so kind as to show us this map that they have? Where is it located?
He looks at you and says, "You have a map?" You can see him. He's quite gaunt, as you sort of like now see him. He's quite a gaunt guy. He's got sort of greying hair. He's got a lot of stubble and stuff. He's quite pockmarked. Clearly, he's obviously had some kind of disease or plague or something at some point. He says, "You have a map? Wow." As you kind of show him the map, he looks at it and says, "Oh, wow." He said, "Oh, yeah, definitely." He points to the house that's on your map to the south.
So you say this is called Ravenstown? Ravensong.
Ravensong. You can't miss it. If you follow the trail south, well, he basically points down the river. He says, follow it down the river. Just off the edge of the river, you'll see a palisaded town. That's Ravensong.
Who is the leader of your town?
That's not my town. I'm not from there. I wander around.
Do you have a name, stranger?
I do have a name. He says that my name is Brother Coldrick.
Brother of whom?
I am a brother of the Rust.
I see.
I follow the teachings of Rust. And who are you?
Is he alone, by the way?
He's alone. It's all his own.
I introduce myself. Anduin from Juniper Song, druid. And singer.
A druid? I see. I don't know Juniper Song. Whereabouts is that?
It's on the other side of the river.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
I had some dealings with the Rust brothers, didn't I?
You have indeed.
Can you remind me what that was?
Well, they wanted to convert you to the ways of Rust. And you obviously didn't want to be converted, so they decided they'd like to hunt you down for a bit of sport.
Are Rust brothers generally considered like bad? Are they sort of de facto seen with suspicion and enmity, or are they just...
Yes.
Okay.
They are from most goodly folk, generally Rust themselves, so they basically believe through pain and suffering is the way forward. They also are the ones that, in fact, who's got law? Make a law roll.
I think I do. Let me just double check. I do, yes. And watch me roll multiple ones.
Maybe not. How many successes did you have, sir? 2 successes. Yeah. So they basically follow the god called Rust and his wife Heem. The Rust brothers themselves are how the best way to describe them? So they spread their word throughout villages during the Blood Mists. It turns out the Blood Brothers had found a way, or the Rust brothers had found a way to basically wander through the Blood Mist, and it became a very powerful tool for the Rust brothers during the time of the Blood Mist, because they could travel from village to village and bring news and supplies and various other things. So they very quickly, during the course of the Blood Mist, built up quite a lot of power base. Most villages and towns had or have a Rust brother who is someone who leads in theological matters, unless there is either a Raven sister or one of the other gods, priests or priestesses. So Tony, definitely for yourself, you're a druid, and you're a druid of, Juniper, and I guess of the woods and the land. So you probably would not be a fan of the Rust brothers, because they basically believe that only through pain, suffering, and essentially rusting the ground, and they pretty much wander around, not so much now since the Blood Mist is gone. They're finding that their power is starting to wane, but essentially, yes, they will try and convert as many people to Rust and Heem as possible.
Is the general consensus that they'd be sort of chased out of villages on sight, or are they sort of like political? When political parties come and doorstop you,
yes, exactly
you can sort of say no, thank you, but beating them around the head with their own shoes is probably considered a little bit.
It depends on the village you come from. Probably from Juniper's song, because you're all about equality, you would probably say, no, we're fine, thank you very much. We have our own beliefs here. Off you go. Please go somewhere else. Was probably what you would say.
Fair enough.
Well, Gray is going to spend his last willpower point. I had 2 because I was damaged.
Yep.
And I'm going to use my hunting instinct talent.
Okay.
So I designate him as my prey. He's my prey for 1 day because I only have the 1 point to spend. And also it gives me a +1 bonus to attack him, which is exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to kill this motherfucker. I'm going to gut him like a fish.
Okay, cool. Well, let's jump to that, shall we?
Very bad things are going to happen.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt as an action beforehand. You get a freebie action before we start the combat round.
Excellent.
Come on, then.
Is that a melee roll?
It is a melee roll.
Okay. And I have a +1.
So, first combat of the session.
Damn it.
Okay. Well,
everyone can tell by the cursing that I failed my roll, and I have 2 banes.
So, did you want to push that, or are you going to just let that go as a failure?
I'm going to let that go as a failure.
Okay, well, in that case, initiative starts. And unfortunately for you lot, he goes first. He sees you jump at him. How are you attacking him? Are you sort of like slicing him with a knife, a sword? What are you doing?
I was attacking him with my spear.
Okay, so yeah, you rush forward and you kind of like stab him with the spear. He realizes that you're obviously doing that, and he kind of was obviously judged your intentions and steps back to the side, and he basically pushes. Who's it going to be? Let's make a roll very quickly. Okay, so he basically rushes Beridon to push past you, to run away, basically. Let's see if he does. Woohoo! A whole 2 dice. Okay, I got one success.
He doesn't need to roll. Beridon is just going to let him go.
Well, he basically barges your shoulder and basically runs straight towards the river. Tony, what's Andrew going to do?
I'm just shocked. I wasn't expecting this at all. So I'm looking at Gray and like, what are you doing?
Killing what needs to be killed.
You see that Cassie looks at you, Gray, and says, okay. Cassie pulls a knife out and throws it at the fleeing Rust brother. And that knife goes flying into the river, never to be seen ever again. What's Gray going to do?
Gray is going to run after him and kill him. Hey, man, they captured me and tortured me.
Can you make a move roll for me, please?
Yes, I can.
Let's see what his move is. Okay, I got no successes. One move roll from you, please.
Would you like to be kind and give your player a bonus?
I'm not going to give you any bonuses for like randomly just killing some random dude on the road.
He's a Rust brother. He's not a random dude. He's a creepy cultist, and they kidnap him.
Hey, I'll tell you what. You've got Hunter's Instinct on him, right? Have a +1. You've designated him as your prey. So, okay.
No successes. I'm going to push it.
Okay. Well, okay. You get a success, but you take 2 damage applied to your agility. But you get a success. Okay. You just catch up with him as he's about to like plunge himself into the river. You get an attack.
I'm going to shove his face underwater and drown him.
Well, you're going to get to hit him with something before he jumps into the river. So
Okay.
unless you want to jump into the river and fight him in the river.
No, I don't want to fight him in the river now.
Okay.
And do I get a modifier because I caught up with him?
Yeah. Get a +1.
I already get a +1 because of my...
Okay, well, you get another +1, so it's +2.
Awesome. Excellent. That's what I like to hear.
You're hitting him from behind as he's running away, fleeing for his life from some savage creature.
Yeah, and I took that 2 damage to my agility because I probably tripped over a boulder on the way as I try to jam this spear into his back. 2 successes.
Okay, right. Well, what is the damage of your spear?
The damage is 1.
Damage is 1, so it means you can do 2 damage if you take the other success, so it'll be 2 damage.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you basically rush behind him and you shove your spear as hard as you can into his back. He doesn't appear to have any kind of armor on, as you can feel the spear pierce his side or his chest or lower chest area. And the force that you kind of came and tripped and pushed, it goes straight into him and you pull it out and you can see blood immediately soaked through his tunic as he stumbles and falls almost mid-jump straight into the river and he disappears from view. He then comes up, waves his arm around a little bit and then disappears underwater again, followed by a staining of blood streaking in the water. And I guess that's where we'll leave this session for tonight.
I know how to close them, don't I?
If in doubt, brutally murder every stranger you meet on the road.
No, not every stranger. Not every stranger. Just the Rust brothers.
Okay, how many strangers have we met on the road since we left Juniper's song?
1. Right?
100%. 100% attack and murder strangers, right?
No. 100% attack and murder Rust brothers.
And me thinking we're a merry troubadour band.
Jesus.
I think a couple of you are. I'm not really sure about the other one.
You're gonna have to expel you from the club. I'm so sorry. I mean, your tambourine doesn't sound well.
You don't know what they did to me. My tambourine, I play the drums, asshole.